School children were among thousands of climate activists to stage a mass die-in, bringing the city to a halt. Sam Cucchiara says the protesters lay across tram tracks, forcing the closure of several streets.
Pretending to drop dead at one of Melbourne's busiest intersections, thousands of activists lie motionless in the middle of the road during a silent stunt shutting down the corner of Burke and Swanston streets.
Every day and every night we're crying in our beds, crying to sleep.
Earlier they'd gathered at State Parliament.
And it's going to wipe away generations, and it's going to wipe away neighbourhoods.
Before weaving through city streets.
What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now!
And demanding the government declare a climate emergency. Among the vocal crowd, young children and school kids who skipped class.
I think it's important to come out here and raise awareness.
Yes, because why study for a future we won't have?
If it's to help the planet and help everything else, then we definitely need to come out, and it doesn't matter about school, really.
Tram services were disrupted and frustrated motorists caught in the middle. The group behind this stunt calls itself Extinction Rebellion. They've held similar demonstrations right around the world, including gluing themselves to trains and chaining themselves to politicians' homes. And they're vowing to make even more noise in Melbourne, while police keep a watchful eye.
We need to protect our lives. It's a breach of human rights.
Sam Cucchiara, 9 News.
Thousands of climate change protesters have jammed the CBD in what they describe as a rebellion. They lay down on streets to cause gridlock and delays, and they're warning it's just the beginning.
The federal election may be over, but this campaign isn't.
What do we want? Climate action! What do we want it now?
As 2,000 protesters shut city streets for hours to rally for action on climate change.
And I know that we're in the very best of hands, because you lot, you think
koalas are functionally extinct.
At the end of the day, this goes beyond politics. This isn't an issue for the left and the right. This is an issue for the survival of everything and everyone.
Staged by students, the event was part of a global strike.
I think that nothing really matters if we don't have a planet. What's the biggest climate issue for you?
Just the animals, you know.
And again, the Adani coal mine was high on the agenda. Along with calls for the Morrison government to slash carbon emissions with a zero target by 2025. The protest was organised with the support of police, and for 5 minutes students lay on the ground to symbolise species on the brink of extinction.
This is literally a matter of life or death. This is about whether we are able to preserve our way of life as we know it.
The group has a week-long rally planned for September up against the AFL Grand Final parade. Christy Mayer, 7 News.
And climate protesters caught up with former Prime Minister Tony Abbott in a face-to-face confrontation in Sydney. They forced the ex-PM to run the gauntlet after he wandered past their rally.
Tony Abbott took a walk in the city today and made a very wrong turn, stumbling straight into a climate change protest.
What about Adani, Tony? What have you got to say about Adani?
Out of Parliament, but still in the firing line. The former Prime Minister spotted, then pursued through the streets, right past the 7 studios, caught on the building's security cameras while being heckled on climate science.
You disagree? Respectfully disagree. Well, it's a shame, isn't it? Because if that's the state of the world where we disagree with scientists...
Followed across intersections until he was able to shake them off in a hotel foyer.
One last word for Adani and climate scientists.
I think there's been enough said. They're entitled to protest. I thought they went a little bit over the top when they saw me, but I guess it was just my misfortune to stumble upon them.
In what's been an ordinary week for Tony Abbott after voters dumped him from Warringah, straight into this.
It came out of nowhere, and then there was a big group of people who obviously weren't really a fan, and they just approached him.
Mr Abbott says he's used to the attention.
I'm not complaining. Look, once you're a public figure, there's a sense in which you're always a public figure.
It comes with talk of Tony Abbott's future, suggestions of a posting in Rome or Washington, maybe just as far away from Martin Place as possible. For now, it's all water off a duck's back. Chris Mark, 7 News.